Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust has been in the country for, I understand, for the past 15 years. I would want to introduce you to the director of the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust, Madam Heather Brewer. Madam, thank you very much for your time. This is a new center. Of course, Horse and Donkey Trust has been in the Nyaminas for almost coming to for almost a decade or so. But here, when did you come here as a trust fund?
We opened the centre on the 21st of January 2017, so it's very new. The concept came because we'd been holding a lot of workshops for government officers. We work very closely with the Department of Livestock Services, and logistically it's very hard to get people up there. I also wanted to provide a resource for the University of the Gambia and the Gambia College, because we've worked with them also in the past. And that was the grain of the idea. It took a little while to raise the funding, but thanks to a wonderful group of veterinarians in Great Britain, they helped me to raise the money, along with a couple of grant-making trusts, and then we were able to go. And I have to thank Lawrence Williams from Makasutu Trust for providing the land on which he's a great animal lover too. And we built the centre in memory of my sister Stella Marsden and James English, who was the previous owner of Makasutu, both of whom have now passed away, but it is dedicated to their memory. We're mainly focused on education. We have students from the university, from the college, from the School of Agriculture coming almost every Saturday. They come, and they will come on placements to get hands-on practice with the animals. They learn how to do, well, many things, laboratory work and so on. You'll see the hospital and so on. We also have excellent hospital facilities. We have scanners, we have X-ray equipment, we have endoscopes so we can look inside the animals. So there's a lot going on. We also have an apprenticeship scheme where we're training apprentices. We have 5 here at Makasutu and 5 up in Nyamina, and they alternate with each other, and they can do training for 1 year. If an opportunity for employment arises during that time, they can take the certificates that they get given certificates on a regular basis. But they learn not just about horses and donkeys. Our vets, Dr. Demba Jallo and Alpha Jallo, who's a wildlife expert, train them about wildlife, small ruminants, cattle, chicken diseases as well. So they get a very good broad spectrum training, and maybe after that they can work with livestock services or wildlife. It will improve their opportunities for employment anyway. I think we've had a big impact, and I didn't realize that until we came here. And we're now seeing here problems that we saw in Nyamina 15 years ago, but we no longer see. Harnessing problems. Now in Nyamina, people phone us up very early if they've got a sick animal, so we can treat it very quickly. Here, still, they don't realize that maybe that we're here or that we will come immediately if there's an emergency. So we're still building up, and we want people to learn about us and what we do. But we'll never turn an animal away that needs help.
Animals.
I mean, the farmers are very, very dependent on the animals for farming. I mean, now in Nyamina, everybody's preparing their animals for the farming season. They're a big part of the agricultural needs of this country. And I think without them, we'd be stuck. You know, the country needs the animals. I think we're a very practical organisation. We're not there to cuddle the horses and let them live happily ever after. We're here to help the farmers and improve the production of the animals so that the farmers get better benefits. from us get better benefits. Yeah, UK was built on horseback, and I think Gambia is at the moment. They haven't been in the country very long, and the people who keep animals here have a huge challenge because there is a great problem with disease. So in addition to all the other work that we do, we have links with British universities. We're hoping that the University of Liverpool will be coming to work on one particular disease called epizootic lymphangitis. The University of Glasgow has been doing a lot of work on trypanosomiasis. We've had a big problem with the trypanosomiasis changing now and actually going to the brains of the animals and causing a neurological disease. So they've done a lot of work, and they're going to continue on another 5-year project with us. And all that information we share with the Department of Livestock Services. So we have an MOU with the Department of Livestock Services, and we work very closely with them. And we also have an MOU with the Department of Wildlife as well. Been going for 4 months, but normally on Saturdays, anything from 30 to 60 students, depending on the group. Dr. Daffy brings them. Dr. Daffy teaches. I'm very proud that the Gambia is one of the few countries in the whole of Africa that teaches animal welfare at university level. And I think the whole of the rest of the world should look on in amazement. And I think they do. I mean, we've had such a lot of good feedback about that. And he brings every Saturday a group, either from Gambia College, School of Agriculture, or the university. So if you were to come tomorrow, I don't know how many students are coming tomorrow. Do you know? Maybe 40 something. They normally let us know the day before, because if it wasn't Ramadan, we would be feeding them. They get their main meal here too. All of these donkeys have had a problem. They were either hit by cars or bad harness injuries. We have one particular horse here who was very seriously damaged in a landmine explosion. I'll show him to you very soon. And he's almost better now. But if you could have seen the injuries when he first came in, it was incredible. And I'm really proud of our staff. The Gambia Horse and Donkey staff, I might be a bit biased, but they're the best in the Gambia.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Paul Jata.
Jata, your donkeys, do they have names?
Yeah, they all have names. This one came recently with no given name yet, but the rest, they all have names.
Okay.
So that other one, the one behind, is called Helen.
Helen?
Yeah, she's from Bijilo.
Okay.
Yeah, she was having like fistulous vidas. You know fistulous vidas? So he said this is caused by the harness on the back of the donkey. Okay. So most of the time there will be like fluid and change of post. Then that post, the thing we have to do, we have to puncture the wound and then drain the post out. And we continue flossing the wound until it heals. And then we have to continue with medication, oral medication, until the animal heals. And then after flossing the wound, we have to apply what we call as filter bag cream on the wound. That's what we normally do.
How long?
That one is about 3 months now. Okay. Yeah.
Looks quite perfect.
Yeah. Before, if you should see the donkey, it lose weight. It lose weight a lot. But now, she's improving very well. The other one is called Nyambai. Nyambai was lame, and then she was brought in here. Lame. Lameness, that is limping. The other leg was having a problem. So she was limping. That is called lameness. So the time she came, we give medication. As time goes on, she's now much better now. Okay. Yeah, she's much. Some of them do come for a visit. Some of them. Even today, there was one guy who came for a visit to see his donkey. And he was very happy to see that the donkey is almost healed now. Okay. Yeah. He's called Joss. Joss, yeah, he's from Joshua. He was suffering a lot. He was suffering. There was no water, no food. He was just looking for food by his own. So he was really losing weight. So we really sympathize him. We see to it that we must try by all means, because we are dealing with animal welfare. So we have to try and get him in here. Give them hay, rice bran, and then we have what we call as wheat bran too, as supplements. And we have other things we call succeed, which we add on the feed to give them. It is very good for digestion. Yeah.
This is Pa. He's a very old donkey and he was badly attacked by another donkey. So you see his body is covered in scars and he lost the end of his tail. In fact, his tail was so badly injured the surgeon had to operate and remove just the tip of his tail. But we managed to save most of his tail. But I think in his youth he was quite a feisty boy. Now,
What is his name?
Pa, we call him Pa.
He's coming up.
He's such a sweet boy, but he's very, very old. You can age donkeys by their teeth, and he hardly has any teeth left. What's his name?
Janke Wali.
He came in with his mother, who sadly had choked on a mango stone, and we could not dislodge it. We struggled for days trying to, with different drugs, to try and release the muscle spasms and so on, but we failed. So sadly his mother died, but now we're raising him. He gets milk feeds and our staff even get up at night to feed him.
Milk?
Milk, yeah. And he's doing very well. He's a sweet boy.
How old is him?
How old is he now?
About 3 months now? 2 months.
No,
huh?
2 months, 8 weeks.
Patrick Kelly. Yes, so this horse has suffered an injury to this area in his leg. So what we're doing is we're just using the ultrasound machine to scan and see where the source of the infection is. And then what we're doing is we're using this tube here to flush out that infection and to remove that infection from the leg. So I've got one of our students here from Liverpool holding the ultrasound machine while we're doing it, and the rest of the students from the horse and donkey are using the tube to flush out all that infection. And hopefully over the next few days and weeks they'll be able to continue doing that and flushing out that infection, and the horse can go on and make a full recovery. Yes, well, we're just in the process of doing it. So Elisa here is going to get the scanner, and so if you just press the time, you just move the thing at the top. Yeah. That should do it. Have you pressed freeze? Okay. And then maybe. Very good. So as we introduce the so what we're trying to do, I was explaining to the guys, is that there is a point up here where the infection is, very deep within the leg and deep within the muscle. So we're using the ultrasound machine, and the guys have seen that on the ultrasound machine, the gas and the infection shows up as being very white. And then we're using the ultrasound machine to guide us so that when we get this tube in, we can see that entering through the ultrasound machine as a white structure, so as a gas-filled structure. Then the guys, what we're going to do is we're going to get Alphonse and the guys, and they're going to, you're going to flush it out with some salty water over the next few months, and insert this tube every day. So you'll find that this tube goes in quite a long way. Okay, so I'll take it out. So the infection is at that sort of depth. So it's quite a long way in. So you guys are going to need to put that in there every day, into a decent depth, and make sure you flush it out with lots and lots of salty water. And continue on the antibiotics and the anti-inflammatories, so that we can control that infection, and you guys can get them ready. Is that okay? Yeah. We just call it ultrasound guided surgery, really. That's all, So we're using the ultrasound machine to guide our approach to the infection and guide our approach to the infected area. And it's much more precise, because otherwise we'd have to use, maybe use surgery to make a big hole there to get down into the infection. But with this piece of equipment, we can be much more precise and less aggressive, and create less of an issue for the horse, and therefore the horse will. So on the screen at the moment, what we're seeing here is that this is bone here. Okay, so this is part of his pelvis. A lot of these structures here, so this mixed black and white is muscle, And this very bright white line is the abscess and the line that we were passing the tube through, so that there's some air in there. So those very white specks are air, and that black around it is the pus and the infected material. So that's exactly what we're seeing. So we were explaining to the guys, we were talking about how, you know, bone shows up as white, metal shows up as white, gas is white, and then things like fluid and pus and infected material are often very black on the screen. So we were having a chat about how to interpret the image and how to use it going forward, so that the guys will be able to use it to treat the horses.
So
Yes, a lot of the time you would have to resort to surgery, you know, or you wouldn't, you know, at best you just wouldn't exactly know what was going on with the case, and therefore you wouldn't be able to treat it as well. So we wouldn't know that you need to put the tube in so far. You know, we might be flushing it, you know, only to a smaller depth, but there will be a lot of infection still further in there. You know, so we can use the ultrasound machine, and the guys can use the ultrasound machine to fully diagnose the problem and diagnose how severe it is. The main thing is to remove that dead tissue and that infected tissue. So, you know, over the next few weeks, what the guys will do is they will get a disinfectant solution, and mostly just water with salt in it, you know, and that water and salt helps to kill the infection and helps to flush it out, you know, and the horse will also be on some antibiotics to treat that infection as well. So that's going to be the main focus of the treatment, is to get this infection under control and get it sorted out, so that he can, you know, we can get this wound to heal up fully and to stop draining. Get him back.
On what we're doing now.
yes, what they're doing now.
So really interesting. So we use this technique back in England as well, but it's very interesting to come out to the Gambia and be able to use it here as well on the horses, just because you see different cases. So we can all learn from that, and it's good as well to work with the students from the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust, because we all have different, you know, they've got things they've learned from being here in this country, and we have things from England. So it's good to be able to share them all and yeah, work on cases together, which is nice. The things that we've seen on our trip here. So yeah, we were talking about this earlier actually. There's lots of things which are very similar and lots of things which are very different to how we do things. So the things which are very similar is that some of the problems we see out in the field are from management, which is the same as we get in England. So generally, with kind of basic tips on how to manage things, we can hopefully help people and help the horses in this way. There's different diseases that you get out here compared to which we get at home, which is really interesting. Obviously, it's a lot hotter here, which causes more problems, which, you know, you don't think of in England. But yeah, it's been a really good experience overall, and I'd advise anyone to come out and see things done differently, because it's a massively good way to learn.
Hi, Amy.
Amy.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. Like he's got a lot of knowledge in there, and we're very lucky to have him to come here and you know, share his knowledge with us and with the students over here. And we learn a lot from each other. You know, these guys know a lot that they can teach us, and in return, we give them a bit of our knowledge that we learnt from England. It's great. Well, hopefully my knowledge will grow and get a bit bigger year by year, and I should be able to come back and teach.
What's the name?
Annabelle.
Annabelle.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I asked your colleagues, how did you find the session?
Really useful, yeah. It's a bit, we see wounds in the UK, but this is quite an exceptional case. So it was really interesting to sort of challenge ourselves to think outside of the box, how we treat it, and obviously teaching the Gambian students, and also benefiting our own learning. Really interesting.
I'm a student. Well, I learned a lot about animals now. For 3 to 4 years, I have been in the field as a student in the Gambia College, and later on we came here on training. I've seen a lot of things, how to care about animals, how to treat them, and how to give them feed, the type of feed that is given to them, and if there is any case of trouble or sickness, how to treat them, and so on.
Okay.
It is coming up now, you know. Yeah, it is coming up.
Yeah.
It's getting better now, you know. Before when the horse was here,
Yeah.
the wound was so dangerous. Was a very dangerous one. Yeah, it was a deep wound, you know. But now it is coming up, you know. Yeah, with the experience of the guys, Yeah, we have a lot of experience with them too. Yeah, man.
Gambia. Gambians are so friendly. It's great. They've made us feel so welcome. And I really enjoy the treks that we do where we go out into the community and work with horses there. And that's very similar to what we do in the UK. You know, we travel around in cars in the UK and visit people to help their horses. So I've really enjoyed meeting different people and doing things like that. And the ultrasound session today is excellent because ultrasound is really hard. Everything is grey and white and black, and it's very difficult to decipher what things mean. So it's nice to have a session like this where you can work out how to use it in diagnostics and how to use that to treat animals.
Head education officer.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, I'm to teach about animal welfare to students in the school. Yes, so that student will have love for animals. Yes, because Gambia here, how we react to or behave towards animals is not very friendly. So that's why
we call Wasadu Jatto. He was involved in the landmine accident in which his owner and his 2 sons were killed. He had a very, very, very severe injury there, but you can see how far we've come in just 2 months. He was very weak. The wound was huge, really big, and he was full of shrapnel. You know, there were pieces of shrapnel. Of course, he was very, very shaky and shocked, in a great state of shock. And the people who owned him thought he could not survive, but thank God he's still here with us. He's a very good and gentle horse, very kind horse. And the thing that I cannot understand, horses are flight animals, so normally when something bad like that happens, they will run, and he could walk. So, you know, by nature he should have gone, but he remained with his owner's body. He didn't leave. Until help came, and they couldn't. I think it was 37 hours before they could go in because they thought it was a minefield, and he remained all that time with his owners. So he's a very, very loyal soldier. That's why we call him Jatto, because he's a very brave boy.
Thank you very much. Thank
you. Sangi fula komanto mba nga start wo watole bari nga complete 2017 January jang ala lo dalilo kataminti wala mukake training dulati ni ko training manenga counto wala muka molu nindir dula be yang jaro ni be yang la nyanto Kenya ni be yang mutala nyamin jos ala nyanto do a Kenya o dalilo nyin kan wala na jallota pour nyin kamala Gambia University and Gambia College and Livestock Service mbesi den munafang jang ka nindirol ki jang molbe la doko nya soto no la jame ba doko balbe jang doko bi jang bare doko nyim man fo livestock school because it la mun jatiti man sakunda la karola doko nyim man fo ko bare doko nyim fa ne ajube na ngani yol fangla momenti wala mu na taman sero jube tubabol ka me moto wala ngenti feeding family fighting property feeding family wala adun ndela Gambia banko kan jang wo fanna tilinta senolela adun Gambia jang seno joran milialon ke yusu na jikin kamba mu suwonin falol leti nka wolle do kundi baki o suwonin falol nimbe dipendri wol kan na do ko sembo belari wolle kan oto nyante la jata kende a fanna jubela anila tanko fanna nyanta wol jubela la kandu ni ko adamadin bukata no nyel fanal kom oto nin ko balu ku nyimma min ka balu ku nyimma fanan do ku non kana nyina wol fanal la fo nge fanal la nyanto lodu la jube ka bundal tamande ge mi yalon ko asike fanale munafati pour nafasi gi non tel fanal kan bakar wo mu tonya balati ni ajube jannen ka CB tiloto tumalle tammeta wotumo ni ko kargita karambuto awulula le ka karambu joy adu ka joko do min na jama ka bo seno leto wo seno nyen suwonin falol wolle kaki oton si hakilo murundi ko ma bake e manke fendi mi banko ga mi alonko nyanda nyina lela because tumol tambita o tumo mol ka senol leke din la karambulu jo adu senol ngin njato damma mbuka ke no suwonin falol wolle kake oto nin na tafuta bito yirwabe ke kan nyandan ko ma felle fanal lale ke sembentuya ya fahamola manko wole o sabu because komi ngafo nyamin be an kamun dala dronko abuka diamu no le bari fewo fen adamadin kasula la jama afanan kasula la bari kaje modol la komi laf ko fahamola manko e ka be an do kundini ajube abuka jiyo soto nyama abuka domoro soto nyama ni ajube asambo nyin talata e kanyi muta ko sila nyi nyanta fala fayenne e kabula gi nintel ngo sifal ge silo kan nke shika ngenati ilafta millan kaka tan kedila e ka sayi nyama e falo do jube ge ka fay jos be jos gela jos wallu men ni ajube fa balo finta bara be damin say ni ajube ala kola nyim fan kengtale hacce ko aka taraku nyim mamin kono sanelal nyante hakilotu la be an to bake adun nga kibaro nyindi be bolon kono jam fana wolo moy ka mo gela la be an dolla sinkiro be lorin be an la kan falo nen suwole kan kombo jang dolu bige korda san suwonin falol lela kombo jang woto mbe yamaro di lela niyo be an sifa soto be isi do ko kel no ala nyaaw nyaama bar nala mi wato sida giodi yalla nala domor wato fanan sida domoro topoto ne keme lulule soto keme fulo ma boye yow nyi ngay domoro la bari kanela hajo dam man jube ate min ka nyine katuge hani na dino fanan jube hakole ben ni tema oton sakata ngawlodu la nyi ngaje bamban ni tema be an kamundala ko de nano abuka diam de nano na sasata hakili tu wala kalon ko man kende awara jankadimi be an fadan be wala nyama ni aje aba kenya dol ke kan mamil understand ise kata yujube ro ke karo bela isa fahamola mankolo mbari mbakata ring ning livestock be mbulodi kanyola kakata ka seseta ise sonoke kamolu karandi ibe hakilo to la to la nyami ha understanding na manko nyin wala atina jama ka omira nan sang fanga ambulance soto le minketa be la ambulance falol ne suolu ate mela janni ngin sang be bannambe o soto la wol ka o bukarta la trek la santol to ni be yangi mi alo école ya ko soto comme emergency ka soto nyame mol kata l'hôpital to o fanan di sempi borol ba ko no le everything a bebige asi suo samba no nyola nim falo asi be samba no nyola o sifalo be wol fanalu campagne wulindi la janne pour nyimbe si hakilo to be la nyanto